Right, good evening and again welcome to the Planning Advisory Committee A, Tuesday the 9th of October 2018. And this meeting is being videoed and sound recorded. Apologies for absence.
No received, because we are all
Thank
present.
you, we'll for it. Right, declarations of interest?
I have a declaration of interest in, I can't find it now. One of the applications, I'm sort of in...
Do you know the address?
Yes, it's going to be 10 Cranbourne Drive. I'm sort of in the quandary because obviously I do not live at 8 Cranbourne Drive anymore. My parents still do live there. But obviously it's 10 Cranbourne Drive, reference number 518-2374. That is the neighbouring house to my parents' house. No comment is required by the committee, I know, but I am unsure as to whether... That's not in Harking North, it's in Harking South. But I'm unsure as to whether I will be able to vote on that.
Well, the fact that it is not down for comment, you do not need to declare an interest because we are not going to be discussing the item tonight.
Okay, well,
as long as you don't make any comment when it comes to it.
Yeah, all right, well, yeah.
So,
thank you very much.
What's that one?
Right, minutes of the meeting of Plans A committee held on 28th of August 2018, page 113. Any factual errors?
I didn't see any.
Sorry?
You, Michael.
Okay, right. And may I accept those to the record and sign? Thank you very much. You want every page in there?
initial just being.
Okay.
Pages now. Read it.
Thank you very much. Right, any matters arising? Public questions in accordance with Standing Order 22 and 23?
No, none have been received.
No, thank you. This is a check.
So at the point that this agenda was actually distributed, we had received notice of reception, but since that time I've received a letter from Mr and Mrs Grant, who are present with us this evening, in relation to 11 Rosebery Avenue.
Right, lovely. Thank you. Right, note that letter and we'll come back to it in a minute. Right, item 6, application is registered the weeks ending 14th of September, 5th of October, 21st of September, 28th of September and 19th of October, all 2018.
Right, okay, did you want to move on to the
So I'll now move on to the
items,
Yeah. So I always get a problem with that break. So where do I go?
Right, okay, so we're going to jump straight through into page 19, which relates to number 11 Rosebery Avenue. So I have Mr Grant, who is going to speak against the application. So just bear with me a second, Mr Grant. I'm just going to get the papers out in front of the councillors, and then you're welcome to come up and take a seat and address this meeting.
Anywhere in particular here?
Yes,
Okay.
there's
Wherever you feel
fine.
comfortable.
Okay, please.
Client. Application form.
Yeah, just a bit. Somebody who's on the A3 mode.
Right, okay. In addition to the application that we've got in front of us, Mr Grant, along with his letter of rejection that was sent to us, did also do a small diagram as to how he views some of the impact will be cast on to the neighbouring properties, number 9 and 13. So if you want to include that as part of your deliberation.
Please.
So Mr Grant lives at number 13. Okay.
Right, sir, would you like to
When you're
proceed?
ready.
Well, thank you, Chairman and members of the committee, for allowing me to speak. As you'll see, the proposal relates to a huge rear extension to one of the avenue's original houses. Some 4 metres in height, the extension and loggia will in all jut 7.5 metres into the garden of that property and has a flat roof. Now, this may or may not meet local planning criteria. But our main concern as immediate neighbours at number 13 Rosebery Avenue is with the additional side extension and, to our mind, the misrepresentations contained within the architect's design and access statement, which is a sort of major part of the application. These concerns are detailed in our letter of the 4th of October, which we sent to the Head of Planning and Building Control at St Albans, and which I copied to you as Town Councillors. Firstly, under site, this document says, the house is set within a large plot and the proposed alterations will not impact on the site or the neighbouring plots. Now clearly that's not the case, as the side extension proposal incorporates a wall immediately at our side boundary of, as far as we can judge, 3.4 metres in height. Given that there's a difference in height between our respective plots of 40 to 50 centimetres, we are lower than 11 Rosebery Avenue, it means that that wall to us will appear close on 4 metres in height, and that will dwarf the existing wall of 2 metres and will only be 2 metres away from our house. So for this document to say that it will not impact on the site or the neighbouring plots, to our mind, is completely erroneous. Secondly, under the more detailed information about this proposed site extension, the architects say the proposal will result in no significant effect on the amenity of adjacent properties or on the residential character of the street. The use of pitch roofs, feature brick detailing and timber is predominant with the street, and we have adopted these features in the design. Now, setting aside for a moment the proposed use of a slate roof, which features nowhere in the existing design of number 11 nor in the immediate vicinity, we argue that the side extension will have a very significant effect on the amenity of our adjacent property. As I say, it says here that it will have no effect on the amenity of the adjacent property. It will obliterate the view we enjoy of the morning sun rising around the side of number 11, which comes through the windows of our conservatory and shines on the furniture and floor and gives light and provides warmth. That will be completely eliminated by a wall of the proposed height. It will also further interrupt the light to the only southeast facing side window to our lounge, and that was the very small addition I added to their plan. We have a side window in our lounge wall. The architects make no mention of it whatsoever, but to have a 4 metre wall almost adjacent to that window is clearly going to have some effect on the lighting into our living room. And finally, again in this document, the design and access statement, the architects say, with direct reference to policy 72, the proposed extensions have been designed to have minimal impact. The materials proposed match the existing whilst enhancing the aesthetic appearance of the existing dwelling, and there will be no loss or restriction of light, privacy or amenity on adjoining properties which flank the proposed dwelling. Well, that's completely untrue. My wife and I are not ones to raise issues frivolously, but faced with these misleading statements, we have little option but to object most strongly. Filling the side return with a 7 metre long, 4 metre high boot and utility room is harmful to our family home, and we believe incompatible with design guidelines and the open layout desired within the conservation area. So we ask that this element of the application be rejected. Thank you for listening.
Lovely, thank you. Councillor Wood, would you like to start?
Well, okay. What about the 45-degree right angle? Does this affect things?
Well, I think Mr Grant has included sort of the 45-degree element on here, on the drawing that he provided, but then it was also, I believe, mentioned on one of the other drawings. It could potentially be that one that's just there, where the architect has sort of shown the 45-degree angle sort of coming from.
May I clarify? Our bedroom window is how they've shown that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yes. So that has been sort of shown on here that it's been taken into consideration.
That's for the window.
So that's the back, because the 45-degree angle isn't taken into consideration for side windows. It's actually only rear front windows.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why there's been no mention of them along the side elevation, because it's actually just rear and front windows that is taken into consideration. Yeah. I will double check. Anyway, carry on.
Looking at the street scene, for example, here we've got this. We're building right up. There has been a lot of developments in Rosebery Avenue over the years. The houses have got expanded left and right. This does seem to push right up to the edge of the boundary with this wall in particular. So there is an effect on the street scene. Whereas material is another matter. Mr. Grant mentioned the slate roof. So in thinking of all these conservation zone areas, the requirements rather, we do look at the materials that are used, and this would seem to be significantly different. There is the fact it pushes out substantially to the rear. It does extend the property by probably, my guesswork is about 50%. No, it's quite a substantial increase in the footprint. But to the rear, that wouldn't seem to matter. Mr. Grant, as you said, they're looking at the bit that it affects them in particular is the side extension. So I'll just pause at that stage and see if you've got any thoughts.
My comment, we need to take into consideration the fact that there is a slope as well. We need to consider that. Number 11 higher, number 13. So that will have an impact on the extension.
Sorry, I'm just clarifying what I've said. Sorry, it does clearly relate to rear and front windows. I'm just checking on the daylight and sunlight.
Is that the national policy?
Yes.
So this is the
4 meters.
This is a supplement to.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Brilliant. Thank you.
The main issues are here immediately space, daylight, sunlight. Really.
Well, that goes under loss of amenity.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
I mean, the thing is, policy allows extensions out to the boundary.
Does the ground floor level? Yes.
Single story, but how are we affected by the ground level? How do we take that into account?
It would certainly be something that would be taken into consideration, yeah, definitely. But in terms of the letter of the law, it is ground floor, single-storey extensions are permitted up to the boundary, but then you take into consideration the other factors of the loss of amenity effect on the neighbouring property and such like.
So I think we're looking at the use of materials.
Yep. Right, so let's just get the policy. So policy 72. So I've made a note here of the use of materials. And then if you want to sort of refer to the scale and character under that, the extension should relate to the domestic scale, character and appearance of the street, so the fact that these are different materials than what's currently existing.
It does. And does that one also include terracing?
No,
It's
that's
not exactly
a little
terracing,
bit
that's
further
different.
along.
Okay,
That's a little bit
fine,
further
yeah.
along, we have the opportunity to. I mean, and then I suppose compatibility with the original buildings, which relates to roof form, detailing and materials. That's compatibility. Space around the building. Extension shall not be so large as to seriously diminish the private space, including car parking. I think that there's still sufficient amenity space to service the private properties. Car parking garaging is probably not relevant. Effect on adjoining property, so this is
Yes.
one area that is given to the spec but doesn't relate to this.
But even though its policy might not cover a side window, I think that we can still comment on it.
We can, yes, so we won't be able to refer to it as a 45-degree angle. We can certainly refer to it in terms of an unacceptable harm to the neighbouring property due to the difference in site levels. 72 by, yeah. So then we've got side extensions where the cumulative effect would lead to terracing of detached or semi-detached houses. Is that what you're referring to? You're saying about terracing, it's not.
It's not.
No.
It's got to be 2 stories and
Yeah.
be able to do that.
And then single-storey rear extensions relate to extend more than 3 metres rear along party boundaries, but I don't think that.
Well, we're talking. No, I suppose
It doesn't
the
beyond-
rear's not 7, is it?
It doesn't go
It's in 2
3
bits.
metres from the rear, the first point of the rear of the property. That's where the 3 metre rule relates to. So if it came out 3 metres from this point here, but it starts a little bit further down into the side of the property, but it probably can't refer to that one, unfortunately. And then we're moving on to 2-storey rear extensions. But we can reference policy 69, which is general design and layout as well.
May I just point out the height, which is 4 metres, which to my mind seems very high for a single story. I don't know whether there's any guidelines as to how high a single story should be. But
the difficulty is that I think that height including the height of the actual roof, or is it?
Yeah, the actual.
Or is that the height of the wall?
No, the actual rear extension is 4 metres in height.
Right.
And so the
So
side
it's got a flat
extension, and has a flat roof. And so then the side extension starts at 4 metres in height and drops to about 3.4 or something. But then you add on the difference, and it's half a metre high to us.
So you can see here actually that they're taken into account the difference in levels.
Yeah.
But it's to us, not only to us, just generally, it's quite an imposing single story. And I didn't know whether there was any guidance as to how high a single story was supposed to be.
No, not really. I mean, some single stories we've seen in the past have been of a standard sort of single story height, and then the roof form has actually extended up to just beneath the first floor window.
Yeah.
We've seen that is still classed as a single story extension, though it is a much more dominant roof form and style.
But this is just under the windows with a flat roof, so it's sort of in a way even more dominant.
Yeah. So that should be so actually, probably taking into consideration the difference in levels, site levels, you're looking at probably actually 4.5 metres difference.
Yeah.
But we can flag this up as being under the effect on the adjoining property. You're able to go into far more detail when it comes to heights and things when it's actually a new housing development. When it's an extension, we have to reference the policy numbers that are available to us.
Right.
Okay.
Question is, with all those points taken into consideration, are we minded to express concern, or does anybody think we've got suitable grounds for refusal?
Express concern.
Definitely express concern.
I think if we recommended it for refusal, I think that would be pushing it on policy terms. I think express concern would be legitimately right in saying that. I think we would be pushing it on the record for refusal. I think express concern is all we can really say in terms of policy terms on this one.
I would tend to agree. I can find nothing that I can say, no, this is a positive refusal. That would stand up.
That would stand up, yeah, exactly.
That would stand up to scrutiny basically at the next stage. So, can we go for express concern then, please? We've already got subject to lots of amenities, neighbouring properties. Design and use of materials. This is building in the conservation area. I don't know if can we get into it there somewhere, the height of the wall, given the lie of the land.
Yes, very important. That's the point I raised.
Materials we've already mentioned effectively, and they should look at the slate as opposed to...
Because actually, something that we haven't, I sort of thought about it earlier, is the fact that we are in the conservation area and this is actually a locally listed building. So we do have further policies available to us under the conservation area.
Can we go those as well then, please?
So we've got policy 85, and then we've got...
Are we okay for inappropriate development in the conservation area?
Yeah, so 85 relates to development and conservation area, so small eyes design development, which then enables them to move on to form and density, so we can make a reference to that, materials, which is obviously 85 on C. Okay, height, roofscape and skyline, so we're able to reference that one, which is F.
But bearing in mind it's a listed building, the flat roof aspect does come into this, surely.
Not so much now.
And the rear is different. It's difficult these days, reinforcing the one at the rear.
Okay, and then because of its locally listed, we have policy 87.
Yes.
Okay. So I think we have covered as much as we possibly can.
And does anything in that policy give us ground for a positive review?
No. No, this really relates to sort of it's in keeping, how in keeping it would be in the conservation area, and it relates mainly to things like the design being what's the word? Yeah, being in keeping with the existing design and style of surroundings, that is it going to bring a positive
making sure it's not
positive
incongruous,
benefit,
basically.
is it going to bring a positive benefit to the conservation area? It relates to things like, it doesn't really give us a heightened opportunity to say we want to recommend refusal. Recommend refusal is where something is monstrously out of scale, keeping size and everything really with the area, whereas with this I think we have elements of concern which we're able to then reference different policies. Okay.
Fine.
But we've been able to make them much stronger by referencing the data.
Thank you.
Okay.
Right, so with those bits taken into consideration, are we there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Fine. Right, Mr. Grant, so what will happen is I will collate the recommendation to go to St Albans. It will be available on the website by the end of this week.
Okay.
I just need to have it drafted and then approved by the chairman that it's exactly what he was wanting it to represent, and then it will be, as I said, available on our website for you to take a look at.
Thank you. Okay.
I'll have it's not me, it's what the committee decided.
It is.
We are
my
an
chairman that
advisory
approves the
committee
minutes.
I realise that, and I'm grateful for all the time that you've spent. As I said, we'll finish talking about it really, but it's a big bulk that's going to sit beside us.
It's tricky because we do have to, as much as we sort of have various feelings, we have to make our comments and views fit with the policy document, which ultimately, although it's very, very old, is still how applications are determined within the district.
Yeah, I understand that.
Okay.
As I'm grateful for the time you spent looking at it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Okay, have a I've got all the drawings.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Ben.
thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers, then.
Bye-bye now.
Thank you.
Fine.
Okay.
We'll just gather everything else. Oh, I'm sorry.
Start back at the page.
Back at the beginning now.
Top of page 15. 5182406. 13 Stewart Road, Harpenden. No objection, subject to no loss of amenity to neighbouring properties. Policy 72.5 of the district plan refers. How are we off on that one?
Yeah, I mean, most of these, it was said that, and I'm quite happy with that, to be honest.
Yes.
So it's pretty much most of these.
I'm sorry, if we can just follow the usual format, if people are happy, we'll just...
Yes.
Well then, if anybody
Yes,
wants to
yes.
come in, let me come in, thank
And
you.
if you want me to outline the reasons why
Yeah.
I've said what I've said, I'm
Thank you.
happy to do that too. Yeah.
Right, 5182410, 73 Outsey Gardens, the park single park, 2-storey front and side extensions. No objection?
That's fine.
Application is exactly the same scheme that was approved earlier this year.
Oh,
Thank you.
So when you come back?
I don't know.
5182273, 55 Park Rise, Harpenden. No objection? Subject to no loss of amenity, neighbouring properties, etc.
I concur.
5182396, 2 Ridge Avenue, Harpenden. Committee have no objection to the proposed extensions, however, express concern that with the loss of garage, there will be insufficient parking provision on the site. Policies 40 and 72, level 4 of the district plan refer. Any further comment?
Yeah, that's fine.
No.
I concur.
43 Ridgewood Drive, Harpenden, does not meet criteria. 5182414, application does not meet criteria. I'll go back on the one prior to that. It's 5182411, just in case I didn't with preceding 2414. Right. Page 17. 5182416, 3 Cooters Hill, Barnes, Cooters End Lane. No objection, subject to the proposal being in line with the principles of Policy 1 of the District Plan relating to development of the Green Belt.
Father in law doing that.
Well, that's a declaration of interest. He says with his tongue firmly in his cheek.
fine, yeah.
Right, 5182435,
What was this last page?
Roundwood Park. No comment.
Oh, from Mr. Tony.
School, rather, no comment required.
Wasn't that what we voted on a couple of years ago?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
Right.
almost completed now.
Oh, it's got at some point.
Yes. That was familiar, there is it. 5181830, 122 Eastmoor Park, no comment required by committee.
Great.
5182372, does not meet criteria for consideration.
I think I remember that one.
5182417, Westminster Court, Grove Road, no comment required by committee. 5182290, 15 Longcroft Avenue, no comment required by committee. 5182328, George 4 High Street, Harpenden.
Oh, this is a
No
good one.
objection, subject to appropriate design and use materials on this locally listed building sited in Harpenden Conservation Area. Policies 85 and 87 District Plan refer.
Excellent. So the change of use of the garage, is that out the back?
Yeah, it's the funny garage that used
Next
to
door.
be
Right.
the funeral director's
Yes,
storage
right.
area. Yeah,
And they're basically expanding the pub.
they are.
Yeah.
They're changing it. They, I mean, just to give you a bit of information, that they actually did submit an application very, very similar to this back in 2016, but we withdrew it. So I don't know why. And then they've come back with a fresh bite of the cherry 2 years later. And yeah, what they're basically wanting to do is move away from just the pizza, stone-baked pizza business. They want to sell a range of other food and have it much more.
So the pergola, that's sort of rooftop terrace,
It
really,
is,
isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, so the garage, there's construction, I've seen stories.
Did you want to have
I
an
would,
example?
just
quickly, yeah.
more for interest as a
But it was next door to
a
our
fan of public houses.
No, I know it's quite well, it was next door to CNA.
I am the public house champion amongst the Conservative group in the Town Council.
Is that a good accolade to have?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
As chairman, I shall make no comment.
We all have designated roles, and I am the champion for public houses.
Okay, so, Councillor Gillam,
Yeah.
the top one is existing and the bottom one is the proposed. Okay?
It says leaning firmly on his right. Hold on.
So you can
What?
see at
There's
the
a
top,
swimming pool, that's a reference.
so you can see at the top that there's that sort of outside area
Yes, yes.
which is just sort of
Nothing.
tables and chairs,
Yeah.
and then on the lower section you can see that they're looking to actually make it a much more usable space and,
So this is the front,
yeah,
and this is the smoking area,
yeah.
and they're actually going to
And the little
create...
purple area is the garage that used to be
Yes, the garage, yeah. So that is now going to become part of the pub, and the pergola is going to be...
So if
That
you-
should be there.
Yes, if you look, they're actually extending the pub. So from the bricks and mortar, they're extending the pub out a little bit, and then there's going to be a smaller area for the outdoor pergola for the smoking bit. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Good,
And
good,
inside
good.
it's a much more sort of, dining style rather than this open plan.
Yes, well, I'm in full support of allowing pubs to expand and stay open viably and to entertain people and yes.
Well, I've seen this pub develop over the last 40 years. Actually.
Yes.
It's a bit amazing what it's one time after another.
Oh, I remember when there were pool tables in there.
I'll keep you very quiet on this one. As set out, gentlemen and ladies.
Yes?
Yes, I'm very happy with that. Yes.
Thank you.
Well done. Good. It's not becoming a steakhouse.
Right, 518, we're back to Stoke Hours, isn't it? 518-2341, 49 Morton End Lane. Turn the page.
No objection.
Yeah, I concur.
Right, 518-2346, 11 Park Avenue South, no comment required by committee. 518-2386, 9 Park Avenue South, the application does not meet the criteria. 518...
Oh, we've done this one.
2414 we've done.
2418.
Sorry, 2418, did I say 4? Sorry, that was from earlier. Sorry,
Yeah.
that's stuck in the brain now. Big one. I'm glad we're all awake tonight. 518-2230, 25 Cornwall Road. Recommend refusal. The proposed new dwelling is an overdevelopment of the plot in terms of scale, bulk and height. The proposal could also lead to detrimental effect of number 23 Cornwall Road, policy 6970 level 1 and level 6 of the district plan refers. Concern is also expressed that there is insufficient parking provision for the proposed dwelling size, policy 40 and 70 level 4 of the district plan refers.
To be honest, I think we would have reached much the same conclusion had we debated that. That sounds typical of what we would have, policies we would have quoted.
Agreed.
And from the sounds of it, it does seem like overdevelopment. So, yeah.
The chair definitely has the last paragraph.
Thank you. That was 25 and we move on to 518
Next door.
2231 27 Cornwall Road. Committee recommends refusal as none of the committee's concerns from the previous refused application 5/17/3525 have been addressed.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
You don't have to do anything. Not really.
Right, 8 Lyndhurst Drive, that's 5/18/2312. No objection, subject to no loss of amenity to neighbouring properties. Policy 72.5 of the district plan refers.
Yeah, that's
Am I okay with that one?
It's just so demolition of the house is a building anything. Demolition,
This
just
one,
keeping the front, keeping the front wall.
yes. They're basically retaining what it already looks like, and then they're just,
Right there.
and then they're just building out back, but not, it's not, I mean, I can read the rest of it. It's like most of the house being demolished and rebuilt, the footprint is not really increasing, just a small infill to the rear and dormer windows to the rear roof wall. The footprint appears to mirror the neighbours'
So that they have put the plans into the new build, have they?
So, no, so they're only demolishing, if you think of the box, they're demolishing 3 of the sides and the front is being retained.
Yeah. So the plan, what they're
It's not a full,
asking permission for isn't full.
no, but they wouldn't need to seek full planning permission for that because it's not conservation area. Yeah, so this is the drawings of what the new house is going to look like,
Okay.
but they're retaining the front facade
Okay.
and just building the new behind.
We okay with that one?
Yeah.
Thank you. 5/18/2071. No objection, subject, sorry, that's 29 crossbars. No objection, subject to no loss of amenity to neighbouring properties. Policy 72.5 of the district plan refers. Okay, on that?
I concur.
Thank you. 5/18/2374. No comment required by committee. 5/18/2442. 24 Pipers Avenue. Recommend refusal. The committee's previous concerns still do not appear to have been addressed. Thank you.
Yep. I concur.
5/18/2457. 6 Delcroft Way. No objection.
Oh, yeah, no,
Yeah,
5/18/2222. 82 High Street.
Interesting.
Committee to consider.
Yes.
Which one is, I couldn't quite find it on Google Maps.
Right,
Because I
this
wasn't
is-
sure of it, because it doesn't really show very
If
much.
it assists, I went today. This is actually not the back of the shop. This is actually a separate bit. There's a line of, I would call them garages with accommodation behind.
They're almost next, well, they're basically next to Quick Fit.
Yes, yes.
And then so round, you go
Yes.
down the side of Gallery Rouge,
Yeah.
and then round the back is where I think it's the music den or something like that.
Yeah,
the shop, and then there used to be a picture frame was there.
Yes.
And it's, essentially turning one of these retail units into a house.
Well, it's not actually a retail. It's an outbuilding
funny
sort of
sort of-
retail unit. It's
But it's got like shutter doors,
It
isn't
has.
it?
I mean, it's
Can I
got.
have a look at the plan?
Of course.
Yeah, can we
We're going to
so
anyway.
if I can kick
Oh,
off this,
yes,
having
yeah,
been and
yeah.
looked at it in
Yeah.
some detail today. I mean, I would phrase it a garage. It may be being used as storage, with a room above, and I think it's inappropriate from that point of view. That's personal opinion. It then moves on to losses. That is, as a garage, it's a loss of 2 parking spaces. It then generates the possibility of a parking space. It's no amenity land, and no, from my point of view.
Change of use, you've got to, and I look at and go very deeply nowadays into the high street. I've got writing a paper on this now. And you've got to be very careful about what we do here. The high street is dying, there's changing.
Yes, it definitely is.
What was happening in 1994, we sort of stuck with that sort of thing. It's way upstairs. What we're happening now is our neighbourhood plans, our local neighbourhood plan we're looking at, it's in fact may well be out of date, it's changing dramatically. I think we've got to be very careful about it. I need to look at footfall, look at change of use. We've got to keep the high street a hub of the community in all sorts of ways. I don't like the thought of a garage there. I like the thought of something that there would be place would be occupied. The people who would tend to use that sort of thing would be not need a car. We're stuck with criteria that that we should think of changing dramatically, because the way internet trading is going, the way shops are going, there are one or two more shops which you may not have even heard of will be closing, and I'm just worried that, and it's what I call rather a derelict storeroom type, garage type thing. I'd rather see it occupied. My comment.
Well, it certainly is occupied, even if it's used for storage. I say, looking at it,
But not by people.
I don't think.
Because it's a storage stroke office.
Yeah, it's in my book. Obviously, there's a difference on this one, and we need to go through it. I mean, the thing would be what would the grounds for refusal be were we to decide in that direction?
Not just that, the one below it that was considered in 2016 was the change of use of outbuilding as well.
They were attached to the building. They were at the back. They were at the rear, attached to the rear of the building. It's done. It's almost complete now.
Oh, okay.
And that was the other bit that spurred me to go around and look at it. Or I believe that's right, isn't it? So I'll ask the clerk. I'm pontificating as usual. Not many other people over here.
And then we also the same
Well, yeah.
bit that.
What do you
Let me get it up, because I don't
Please do,
think
yeah.
that refers. Oh no, yes,
do
sorry.
not.
Yes,
That was the back of the property.
Yeah,
back
so
of the
this
shop.
is, so it's all coming because this,
Yeah.
I looked at it, well, this is actually the existing works that are going on at the moment to what used to be musical images,
Yes, yes.
isn't it? So they're doing works there, so yeah, that relates to that and has nothing to
We're talking
do,
about the bit of it's across the yard,
yeah, on the
and it is
opposite side.
literally, at this point in time, albeit somebody has used it for something else,
Mm.
it's a double garage with a room above. It's no more than that.
In terms of space standards, will it comply?
Well, if you look here, I suppose really in a sense,
One bedroom.
yeah, so I mean, what you've got is one bedroom, one bathroom upstairs, and then downstairs you've got essentially like, or like a studio sort of apartment sort of type thing with a kitchenette and the lounge.
Yes, yes.
I suppose what you need to ask yourself the question is that do we believe this location and what is being proposed is a suitable habitable space?
Well, I think you're going to find this area will continue to become more derelict. Okay, we've got Barbarella's in other places opened up, which is just almost empty. But I just want, I'd just like to see some form of life there. I think it's ideal. We need places in the town where people don't need to, with sustainable places, flats thing in the town where people can, where you'll find someone will, no doubt one or two people may will use the local coffee shops and local shops and things like that. I'm in favour.
Yeah, I would like to echo Councillor Weaver's comments there. I pretty much mainly agree with Mike here. It is in a sustainable location, so we can get away with that in terms of negating the car. It is close to the shops and amenities. I think this is what is going to happen more in the high street. You will get to see more mixed use. You will get to see more retail below, or bar or restaurant below, with residential above or behind. And this is, as long as it meets minimum space standards, we need to make sure it meets minimum space standards, obviously. I am happy with the principle of the change of use. As I said, my only caveat to that is in terms of minimum space standards. There has been development all around the other side of the high street at the back, which is completely different, but still. As Mike said, the high street is changing rapidly, and this is one small part of that change. And all I want to make sure is that it meets minimum space standards for habitable occupation.
Right, what about park?
I'm always very clear on this. it's in a sustainable location, and if there's no parking available, then they will forego the option of having a car. I know that will be unpopular with people, but we are moving towards a future where we're trying to reduce car use, and this is a sustainable location. You can walk to Waitrose, you can walk to Sainsbury's, and if you can't walk to Waitrose or Sainsbury's from there, then the people that they shouldn't be buying that property. It's in a very sustainable location. We are moving towards a reduced car usage in the future, and so this one for me is not the main issue here. It's the principle of change of use, and for me it's the minimum space standards.
And I may I say, I do bring into the fact that we're moving with the times. In fact, it doesn't go against the neighbourhood plan that we're looking at. It is all about making keeping the shopping area, if you like, which is becoming less and less shopping, but has to remain a hub of the community. And that is why I said we've got to be very careful about these sort of things, because things are changing so dramatically, and it could really get worse within the other 2 years.
Okay, well, I can't see how changing a storage garage office space to one little one-bedroom apartment will heighten the town one little bit. I don't see that, hidden round back to start with. It will just be one property for one person, maybe 2. Elderly people aren't going to live there because it's got stairs. It's going to be young people that will live there, starter home type thing. This is Harpenden. They will have a car. And what will they do? So I know it's sustainable, but
you can't stop them having a car.
Of course you can't. It's not the right type of property, I don't think, for sustainable living. It's Harpenden. They will have a car. Whatever we're moving to in the future, we've got what we're stuck with now, which is a serious lack of parking in Harpenden.
That's another issue, which I entirely agree with you.
So,
if this were in a different location, if it were on a street, well, it is on a street where parking is difficult. If it were on a residential street, we'd be saying no on parking. So I understand what you say from the point of view of sustainable, that somebody can walk to the shops and can live and can walk to the station and the rest of it. But we've tried this through the district on occasions before, is building places without parking. It doesn't work. That yard is already well choked, and it's going to it's displacement parking. Somebody's going to have 1, possibly 2 cars, and they're going to be out on the high street in the car park or wherever.
But for me, it's not just that, it's a change of use from an office straight.
Absolutely.
I don't want to change all the offices and residential retail outlets in Harpenden to property for people to live in.
If I ask you the point of view, would you consider this if it were putting your old shopping back into residential accommodation? Would you approve?
Your point about the fact that if it was on a residential street, we would be saying about car parking. If it was on a residential street outside of the town centre, we would, yes. If it was up in the avenues, if it was up down towards John Laws, that is usually when we all round this table do say about that, because it is not in a defined sustainable location, but it is right in the town centre. So I don't think we would be I don't think your argument is quite right there, because we always do talk about parking when it's outside of the town centre and quite a distance outside of the town centre. And Pip, your comments about this is it's a starter home for young people. I don't really see what is the negativity about that, to be honest. I don't see what problem would be for that.
They will have vehicles.
Well, if they've got vehicles, then I mean, we can always, to be honest, I don't know why we don't make conditions on these properties that say you can't have a vehicle, to be honest. There's plenty
doesn't exist in legislation, so it's not a material consideration.
Well, an ideal world we live in.
giving the thought to this, I said that this would be an ideal place for young people, okay, you can stay us with a few older people, but it's, yet they want to be in an area which is a sustainable area, a really nice area to live, but at the same time, probably working in London on train and that sort of thing. I think so. I really don't think the car aspect comes into this, and the loss of this office stroke garage. I'm very strongly in favour.
Yeah, I mean, we also have to be pushing modal change as well. I mean, national government is pushing modal change away from the car, and as we previous chairs of this committee have argued, that that is the way governments are thinking on this, and we as local government also should be thinking the same way to ensure joined up thinking. So I'm in favour, Mike's in favour.
Personally, I've got concerns that this is effectively setting a precedent, and that more planning applications will follow of similar vein. I'm unclear as to whether they're right, because then, I mean, if you do the whole thing in that whole backyard.
But then you're going on to the debate of what's viable and what's not viable, and this is what Mike said earlier on, touched on earlier on. If it was viable to have an extension to a retail unit there, or if it was viable to have some other type of change of use there, that is what the application would be for. But this is the thing. It's not viable. We know the high street is struggling. Typical A1 use is struggling.
This isn't A1.
I know, but you're saying, oh, it's going to set a precedent. Well, what is going to set a precedent will be determined by the market and what is viable.
Yes.
That's what's the determining force in this is making the biggest profit, and turning it into residential is making the biggest profit. I mean, you could turn the whole high street if you wanted to in residential. Good luck to you.
I know that comment. I think, unfortunately, with the way we're going, it will happen in time, but we've got to be in the forefront at the start. And this is actually not a front-facing property.
Because it's not a front-facing property, that is all the more reason for offering the change, because your office-wise, I just don't think that it stands up at all. I just feel that this is a valid change.
Okay, we've sort of debated quite a bit.
I think
we ought to, we ought to sort of make a decision on what we really want to sort of feel and say about it.
Well, we've got 2 fours and twos against.
Yeah, I reckon we'll do that.
So we've got 2 and 2.
Okay, so
I know.
the general feeling I get was that actually the main issue here relates to sort of concerns over the parking aspect, as opposed to the fact that parking isn't essential, isn't necessary to enable this to actually happen. I can't read in here that there's any indication that this is a vacant unit either, that it potentially has laid empty for a period of time, that this is an option that's available to them to fill the thing, or is it based on who this particular applicant is it an opportunity for a space that is within their ownership to be converted into habitable space for the commercial revenue? So it's...
And that again is not a material planning
not
consideration,
material,
who or what, so that has to go out the window.
Whether it's viable.
Has it been proven that it's not a viable space? Was it a case that it was used and it's now laid empty for a period of time? I cannot see that there was any mention here to say that it has laid empty for a period of time.
If it persists today, it was being cleared out.
I mean, Heather has a point there about the viability. If it hasn't laid empty for a period of time, then it can be demonstrated on viability terms. So that is a good argument. That's right. But I would still recommend.
I mean, if that was the case, so you could just bump the rent up as high as you like and tell nobody to rent it. I mean, you can easily, just like the hotel, you can make something unviable very, very easily. But I just don't want to see it change.
Yeah, have we seen it marketed we haven't got evidence of that, and again, it's quite well. I mean, if we're using the argument of viability, we need evidence in either direction, and we've none in front of us.
That end of the high street is in dire trouble, actually.
What makes you say that?
You've got,
Are you talking about retail use then?
yes,
Well, this isn't a retail use.
but they seem to be you're not going to find a single office unit there. This was attached to the retail.
Okay, so how do we feel about, aside from any of the parking aspect of the thing, how do we feel about this particular unit, this particular site being converted from the existing use to a residential?
I approve.
Against.
Okay.
Twice.
Okay.
And I'll live by it or die
This
by
is
it.
tricky. So in a sense, really,
Chairs cast and vote.
yeah.
Yes, Chair.
Sorry about that, guys.
So, you know, yes, we are only advised. We can share the viewpoints across, so, you know, we can leave it in a sense to the district council to make their own decision. So, what would we like to say then, that we are actually opposed to the proposed application for the change of use?
No, and again, right, okay, fine, then let's analyse this now.
Yeah.
Have we got grounds to refuse? And what are they?
Well, I mean, I suppose the grounds would be
Have we got it in the...
yeah, it's tricky because, I mean, normally the changes of use relate to, I've got my change of use in here.
This is
Really
not
don't
retail,
feel-
this is
no,
office.
exactly.
This is office to
Well,
residential, which is
Storage office.
Yeah,
storage.
it doesn't
The
actually...
garage,
It doesn't give you the class.
No, because it doesn't actually have a class use.
Oh, well, hang on, would that
Generic.
be sui
Generis?
Yeah.
No, because it would have said that.
Hmm.
So I don't think it's actually got a classification.
It's odd. Many things don't have the
Well,
classification.
I mean, literally was the garage to the property that's the shop.
Which has been used as a storage.
And it's been used for storage or whatever over the period. That's what makes it difficult. So, I mean, then the text
Yeah.
is two of us are against, but is the grounds to say we're against?
Because it's difficult because we don't actually have, I mean, there's strong feeling within the district plan about the changes of use from shops and restaurants and all those sorts of things, and the permitted change across the class sector. But it doesn't. I mean, there is one here which is for storage and a separate one for office, but it clearly wasn't classified as that at any point because it would have said that.
No, this is literally just outbuildings.
Essentially a glorified garage.
It was a garage with it had got a couple of rooms, as have other properties along there. It's extremely small.
Yes.
I mean, one could turn it, and I'm sort of arguing a bit against myself, but I'll do it for the sake of is it turning into a bit of a muse house, and are they suitable? Are they viable? We've got the point that's come from even those against us as to whether it actually meets the measurements, the criteria.
Something that flagged up with me is there are purely two windows in this. There is one window upstairs and one window and a door downstairs.
Yeah.
So are we moving away from the fact that we're not sure about the change of use, but actually we're talking about what is on paper in front of us here being a livable space?
So what meterage have we got? Is that it there? 3.15.
Yeah.
The bathroom's got no lighting.
I mean, if we're looking at compromise on this one, can we say that some members of the committee effectively supported, although others expressed concern over the habitable space, possibly the parking, and whether this was, I know, with conservation area again.
Yeah.
Yes.
And whether there was appropriate use in the conservation area and impacts onto the church. I mean, I see if they've got a back window, it's going to be a dead boring blooming sight. Sorry.
Because
Had to go that
we
way.
are, I mean, we are sort of kind of moving
They've got
into
no,
the
they've got
realm.
Yeah.
no back windows, they've got one front window.
There's
Yeah.
nothing on the side, there's nothing at the back,
Right.
it's all that you've literally
You've got
got.
the kitchen
You've
window
got
here and a door.
That window serves light to the kitchen and lounge.
Yeah.
That's all the window space that is downstairs and upstairs.
Well, this is
literally,
going to be open space, isn't it?
it is, yeah, but it's
just
just
one room.
literally,
Plan, yeah.
if you look there, Pip, on that front elevation, all you've got is the light coming from the front door and that small window that's there. Do we deem that as being sufficient light coming into the dwelling?
I wouldn't personally. I wouldn't.
Well, again, me personally, I don't, it doesn't feel, I don't know if anybody else visited or knows it well.
I don't know what the,
I don't
regulations
have-
are. The size and scale.
The previous history is shortly relevant.
Say again?
The previous history of the thing here, whenever there was a change of use, we expressed concern about. I remember the one I was on the committee at the time when Heather, I think, might have said about the window, the lack of window.
Yeah, that wasn't this part of the property, this was over
No,
the other
that's
side.
it's not.
This was, so the first one that's mentioned there was the back of the shop.
Yes, yes.
This one's across the yard.
So this one
I mean, one would say that in the day it was the stable, but
Oh, yes.
Okay.
it's very much like, well, I think it's just on from the cock, and it's very much like the bits at the side of the cock.
If you look at the relevant history from the past, yes, the bulk of this does relate to the change of use and the changes that are happening to the shop and the back and everything. But there is an element here that's the change of use of outbuilding to Class B1A office, which I think does relate to this we're talking about now.
That was
So
included in that?
Yes, because change of use of outbuilding to Class B1A office
Yeah.
and alterations to opening. So it was that
I
they.
think it was the same day.
So I think 2 years ago, potentially, they were asked for the changes to happen to this, which is what we are faced with here. And now 2 years along the line, we've had an element or an application to change it to that.
Yeah, which you really,
So
if you had a nice little building, that's what it's called.
I mean, if I compare it to the other one that we considered recently, that was similar, was at the back of Southdown shops.
The garages.
Yeah. This is, and we were quite determined that it was inappropriate on that occasion. And I would liken this to that. There's little difference in it. So if we're talking consistency on that one, this to me is... No, I'll be careful with some old tape what I'm saying. I've an opinion about it. I think it's pushing the boundaries a little. I think it's the best way that I can explain it. I can understand why people are keen to jump in and say yes, and I'm as concerned as other people that we utilise as much building as we can in developed areas for accommodation. But this one, I'd like to say, literally that two supported, but others expressed concern.
I don't think that is what
this,
we should be writing in the summary anyway. I've never seen us say this is what happened in the debate. We should
Yes.
with the
we
recommendation.
do need to come to a conclusion.
Right, okay.
Yes.
But if we can't agree, then there is always the option where the committee chose to or could not come to an agreement and chose to not comment on this item.
Oh, no, I think that's locking in.
So, we have to come to something. We've spoken a lot. I need to have something to write down to be able to put in the minutes.
It's your call, Chris.
So, these are just feeling my notes.
But again, we were going back on, are there any grounds? Well, I'm tempted to say it's cramped over development, although it's inside a building that already exists. So that one flies out.
Well, do you want to say that we do not feel that it is an inappropriate, we feel that it is an inappropriate use of this particular site?
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah?
So we've lost the compromise.
But you can't, can you? You can't have
No,
approval and refusal.
No, you
well, I
can't.
think, the basis of this is that we're almost sitting slightly in between, where we say that we're expressing concern that the committee feel that this proposal is inappropriate in this in this particular location. No, it's not about the location. It's this particular. It's this particular. No, it's not about the location. It's about this particular site. It's this particular plot of land, isn't it? Really, this particular building. Do we?
No, so again, I'm thinking on the lines, although the provision of residential is welcomed.
Okay, well we can say that. We can say that the committee is in favour of, so say what you just said, Chris, that...
although the provision of residential accommodation is welcomed.
Is welcome, yeah.
Which again, this is back to the... I'm not going for out and out refusal.
Welcomed in this sustainable location.
Hmm?
You could say it's welcomed in this sustainable location.
It's supported.
Well,
It can say across
the location
town.
is sustainable, so I can't. But that particular part of it, I see what you mean. The high street, yes, sustainable location, but is that backyard sustainable? And that's where we're coming to the nub of it, the movement of vehicles and that in and out of that. Well, it's not going to be a very nice place to live in any way, shape or form. I wouldn't choose it, but there again, if it goes to the rental market, there are those that will feel forced into taking it. And we're getting a bit deep.
Right, okay, so the provision of residential accommodation is generally supported. However, the committee feel that this proposal is an inappropriate development it's generally supported across the provision of residential accommodation is generally supported across the town centre. However, the committee feel that this proposal,
and remembering it's a change of use rather than a...
is an inappropriate development of this specific plot. Yeah.
Plot or property.
Well, it's not a plot, it is a property.
Okay.
And it is part of it, effectively it's a terrace. Again, sort of just expressing
But
where
the
I
other
come.
elements...
It's when you've got the other units there and they all do the same.
What are they all at the moment? I know one of them is like the music den, isn't it?
Yeah.
What are
There's a Thai restaurant there.
No,
We're
that's
back.
along. We're right at the back, Harry.
We're talking the back
Are
front.
you talking about the...
It's not the shops.
No, I know it's not
Yeah.
the shops, but I thought we were talking about what's there at the front.
No,
We're talking about what's in that row at the
So at the
back.
back, Harry, there's basically, there's sort of about 4 or 5, I think. There's 4 or 5 little elements. So I think one of them is like an existing shop,
Yes.
which is the music den, I think, which used to be the picture framers, I believe. And then next to that is, by the looks of things, is another one. And then we've got this particular site in question, and then something else next door to it, which I assume is another...
So I didn't concentrate on what was there other than the fact that none of them were residential. That's it. It was a row of garages with rooms above. I wouldn't say accommodation above.
Windows above.
Yeah. I said there is accommodation, not habitable, there is accommodation above. There are rooms.
Storage, you don't have windows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, I mean, my opinion is that they were latter-day stables that have been converted. But that's a personal opinion, it's not founded on anything.
Okay, so I think really we've probably...
Can we just once more read that back?
Okay, so the provision of residential accommodation is generally supported across the town centre. However, the committee feel that this proposal is an inappropriate development of this specific property. Yeah, but are we happy with
Is it
this
change of
being
use?
turned into
I don't-
residential?
Again, is it an appropriate, okay, fine, development or change of use, but let's go back to
Well,
the...
they're developing it,
Change
aren't
of
they?
use, right, they're applying for a change of use of rear outbuilding from storage stroke office to class 3 dwelling.
Development basically relates to building work of any sort of form.
Right, stick with the word development. Fine, so that's what we've got, so we put that motion to the vote then, properly.
Well, you're the chair, so ultimately I think that you...
Those in favour?
We don't vote at planning
We don't
though,
vote,
no.
fine,
It
fine.
comes from what you...
No, you're in
You
chair,
feel.
chair, and you
I
just
would
say,
do it that way.
No,
If
we
it
don't
was
vote.
close by, okay.
No.
I'll be
Chair
advised on
has
that
the
one, thank you.
casting decision.
Yeah, okay.
But we don't normally have such a divide
Fine.
in view.
I think everybody's views
Well,
is
we
there.
do, don't we? But
Hmm?
the chair.
Yeah. We don't normally, but we have on
Yeah,
this
we
occasion,
do.
so, yeah. Okay, and we'll just see what happens
Yep.
when it is decided by citizens. Thank you.
This is a point of information. Why is it that they do vote the district and we don't?
Because they are they are officially making a decision.
yes,
We are purely advisory. Yeah.
Right, well, I'm sorry to make that a long one. Thanks, guys, for your input. We shall watch this space.
Watch it with interest,
He's down as an organ. Can you, when you know the...
I will let you know.
Please let us
with
know,
interest, okay.
Thank you. Right, on to 5182291, 20A Leighton Road. The application does not meet criteria for consideration by the committee. 5182310, the Skew Bridge Public House, South Durham Road. Committee could consider.
Here we go.
Oh, God, it's another one.
Good one.
This one, they've got their car park. Does this come into their car park?
It is,
Yes.
it's ginormous
Can we
around
look?
Yes,
the Skew Bridge.
we are going to look.
Yeah.
Because their car park was full once.
Once.
And now they've put in a security system to stop residents of the flats opposite using it.
Right.
Those residents and a certain amount of station, unfortunately.
Yes, yeah, and so, but what happens, because I've been to the pub, and what you do if you want to drink there, or eat there, you tell the landlord, he presses the thing, and then otherwise it's a fine for 50 quid for people who park there without going into the pub.
I've walked around the Skew Bridge a few times in the past few years. Since I've been on this planning committee, I've walked past the Skew Bridge and I thought to myself, Skew Bridge does have a lot of land that you could quite easily. I mean, if the developer brought up the Skew Bridge, then that would be that you would have flats and houses all around, and that would be like what is opposite.
Exactly.
Basically, it would be prime. I think there is a lot of land in the garden, a lot of land around here.
Yes.
Mike said the car park was full once. That's true, probably was full once about 20 years ago. The only time I ever see it anywhere near full is on a Sunday morning when the football club go there for their after football drinks. The Skew Bridge has barely managed to stay afloat through its several reincarnations over the past 10 years with several different owners. I probably think this is them trying to make a bit of money and stay afloat. And the bungalow, which would be exactly the same as the bungalow next to it, I can imagine it's going there, right, isn't it?
But it's exit onto Queen's Road.
Yeah, exit onto Queen's Road. I think this is an optimal, good use of the space here. As I said, I think they have quite a bit of space around the Skew Bridge, probably too much space, bearing in mind the amount of people you get that go into the Skew Bridge. And I think it's a good idea.
I would argue that the pub is actually in a sustainable location, and actually most people I know that drink there walk, because you're not allowed to drink and drive these days. Actually, I think that's why people don't park in the pub. Just a point.
Well, that's exactly
Mike,
it against car
your-
parks, is that people
your
don't
comment.
go to pubs
And
to
I'm
drink
thinking
and
about
drive.
this one. I tend to go along with Harry's comments here, actually. The bungalow there, it seems a sort of natural development in many ways here. As I said, there are road restrictions along here, which are rather an unfortunate time actually for the pub. They restricted from 11:30 to 12:30 or something, which is rather bad timing, to try and stop commuters using it at that time. As people said, there is a sustainability thing that people do, quite a lot of people do walk there. I would have thought, I don't know.
I mean, there's no requirement for pubs to provide car parking these days, and in fact it's actively discouraged because of the drink driving rules.
Precisely.
I don't like to see people driving to pubs. So,
Yeah,
I've not got a problem with that.
And the thing is, there's a lot of pubs that have developed on their car parks up and down the country. Just quickly, sorry, Mike. The other thing I think we need to consider is that this is proposing to be a bungalow, which we have, which are not being built these days, bungalows. We have developed a lot of bungalows in Harpenden to houses, so there is a shortage of bungalows, and there is a need for more bungalows, so I welcome these proposals adding to bungalow stock. So I think this is a case of killing two birds with one stone.
Right, Councillor Martin.
Well, I'd imagine that it would be equivalent but tricky, wouldn't it, to build a two-storey
Yeah, the
property
people like
without
the
a lot
rest,
of amenity. There was an objection online, wasn't there? But I thought it was from number 8.
There wasn't when I was doing it, I know that.
Number 8.
I thought it said
What's that, across the road?
8 Queens Road.
Oh, 8 Queens Road, right, okay, fine, so it's one of the
Maybe
flats.
that's the flat.
So it'll be the little houses there, aren't they, that look, face it, yeah.
So they're objecting.
I didn't see that
because
myself.
Because of the loss of view primarily.
Yeah, well, the loss of view I'd find difficult to support considering a building over car park.
But there's no policy that covers the loss of view.
No, I mean they can't really see much anyway. It's not like they're further up Queen's Road where they can see out onto the common. All they can really see, I can imagine, are the tops of trees.
Where the
and
existing
tops of-
bungalow, sorry.
No, I was finished. Yeah.
They're not building a car park.
No.
They are.
Yeah, they're building this bit,
Yeah,
my
it's
place,
on
but
that is a bit,
this bit
yeah.
here, basically.
Yes, okay.
And you've still got loads of car parking spaces anyway.
Yes, you still, as you say, you still
Ordered enough.
Looking rather than its current usage, if you look at it from the point of view of just street scenery, it's just a piece of infill which is not overly obnoxious.
The other point they raised was the driveway, I think, but I don't see that close enough to the junction to be an issue, then the flats are closer.
And considering the number of traffic movements that are not going to take place over what's proposed, is actually going to reduce any potential traffic movements. Right, be it onto Queen's Road rather than onto the main road.
Yes.
But again, we would encourage it off of the main road anyway.
I don't see it's a dangerous place to have a driveway.
I mean, if the other bungalow were not there, I might feel a bit different. I mean, I've always looked at that bungalow. This is just a personal opinion. It's nothing to do with plans, but looked at that bungalow and thought, what a shame that's there. Because if that pub was mine, I'd be wanting to open that bit up and make a real outdoor pub, you know, a real cracker.
You would have to have the customers first.
Well, no, opening it up to the common and making it the cracker from that way.
Well, it already,
no planning consideration. No, shut up. So,
Okay, so
from my point of view, no objection. And what about other people?
No objection. We welcome the proposals.
I don't want to go that far.
It's a good idea. It's a good use of the land, and it is. I think we should definitely have a sentence in there about welcoming the bungalow.
No objection.
Yeah.
Right, 3 no objections.
4, no objection.
I thought you said. No, you wanted to go first.
Oh, welcome. Yeah.
enthusiast.
Well, I've had a lively meeting sometime, right? 5182310,
We've just done
School
that.
Bridge, that's the one I've just done, I don't tick the one before it. 5182447, 15 Longcroft Avenue. Why does that sound familiar?
Oh, because you
No comment required by committee.
that one keeps coming up there. West Haven, that's 15
Got more. 5182476, 44 Outside Gardens. Application does not meet criteria. Alsey, so Alsey, I'm not even going to try.
Outside.
It's outside.
It's outside, because, yeah, that's how the Germans pronounce it.
Oh.
5182484, 42 Aldrich present, no comment required by committee. 5182495, for Alsey Gardens.
Yeah, Alsey, yeah.
Behave. No objection provided that there is no detrimental impact on neighbouring properties and the street scene.
Covered it.
6972.
Covered it.
District plan refer. Thank you. And carrying on. 5182526, 21A Holcroft Road, Batford. No comment required by committee. Bottom of 23.
Sorry.
On to 24. 5182470, 4A Clarendon Road. Not close enough to you, Mike?
He's probably lived there.
No objection.
You probably, don't worry, you probably delivered a paper there, or washed their car.
No, not in that part.
Right, okay, fine, thanks guys.
To Carrots Road, which should have been to Clarendon Road.
Oh, really?
It should have been to us, and when I found out an hour later, where is it? It's been delivered, but it hasn't been there.
Oh, no.
Right, no objection subject to no loss of amenity in neighbouring properties, especially in the case of number 4 Clarendon Road. Policy 72, Little 5, District Plan refers.
I concur.
Thank you. 5182494, 3 Farm Avenue. No comment required by committee. Just noting who it was. A little chuckle at myself. 5182512, 4 Osprey Close. Application does not meet criteria. 5182428, 40 High Firs. No objection subject to loss of amenity to neighbouring properties. Policy 725, the district plan refers.
Yeah, I concur.
Yes.
5182472, 10 Eastmore Park. Application does not meet criteria.
25.
Right, so
Should be
very,
some
very, very good. 5182375, 26 and 26A Station Road. No objection subject to the appropriate design and use of materials in the conservation area. Policy 85, the district plan refers.
Yeah, happy with that.
Okay with that. I think you've covered the...
5182404, sorry, Mike.
Just sorry, I said, no, I was complimenting the comment. That's all.
2404, 2 Sun Lane. Application does not meet criteria.
Good one, that.
5182535, 16 Bowers Way. Committee to consider.
Yes, partly the reason why I didn't look at this is because I also experienced problems with printing plans off and wanted to view, and so
the website's just
sort of struggled, yeah.
rubbish.
So we might just sort of whistle through this one quite quickly, quite easily, but yeah, I basically weren't able to print the drawings off. So Okay, so we've had, I don't think we've looked, we've looked at this once.
Is this the one on the corner of Thompson's Close?
No.
No, it's further down on the left.
Oh, I see.
So I think it was Plan B that mainly looked at this one, Chris.
I think
You
it is,
possibly
yeah.
looked at it,
I-
I think we've looked at it once.
I
It keeps on
recall
toing and
it,
froing
yeah.
and toing and froing. So this is the last application, 0806, which I believe was refused. But we didn't have a problem with it. So they've now come back with a slightly tweaked
Oh, yeah, I can remember it.
description. So now it's a partial demolition, because I seem to recall that there was a lot of discussion and unrest about the fact that they were demolishing a locally listed building,
Yeah.
and that there was insufficient justification for the loss of it.
I think quite
basically.
liked it, actually.
Yeah,
Yes, that's
so
interesting.
they now tried to sort of satisfy that by
Yes,
doing a
fine.
partial demolition.
Mm.
So that's the old that you're looking at there. That was the one that was refused, and then this is the new scheme that they've submitted. But we didn't actually have much of an issue with it before. So to match what you've got there, Jennifer, that's the new street thing.
Yeah, I think we were. Yeah, I think we were.
And our concern was, sorry, can you repeat what our concern
Well,
was?
we didn't. We didn't
didn't.
have a problem with it.
Right,
The
okay.
Albans did.
Yeah.
Because it's a locally listed.
Yeah, the reasons what it said was that by reasons of demolition of a locally listed building, an insufficient justification for the loss of the undesignated heritage asset would be detrimental to the character and appearance of the conservation authority. So that was the main reason, was that they didn't want to see the loss of this lovely little house.
I get it as
Yeah,
well.
so I think what they've tried to do is address that by retaining quite a section, I suppose, and then building on the existing facade. So, yeah.
Who wants to start on that one? We haven't started for a while. Sorry about that. Yeah.
I am happy, I concur.
I don't see.
The
I don't see a
town council didn't
problem.
have a problem with it last, but I mean, I would have probably, if I'd have been able to print it off and looked at it carefully, but unfortunately, getting the agenda out on Thursday, I was faced with
Don't
having
see a
no...
problem.
I'll just say from the point of view...
But this is the new one. Is that the old one?
That's the old one.
This is the old one.
Is it any
So it's
different?
going... I can't see much material change from the one to the
No,
other.
but I
precisely.
think that the one before,
That's
they were
not it.
demolishing the whole thing.
That's not it, I don't reckon.
Right,
Or is
okay.
it just because they've done it in different colour?
I think you're probably showing where the existing bit is, maybe. But that's, those drawings are what I printed off literally Friday.
That's different. It's different. I'd say.
I mean, to me, the
Look,
character...
this here, this has got the same material as round here. This hasn't. And down here, look, these bits are plain.
And we got dates on the plans there,
Yeah,
sorry.
so that's 0409,
Yeah.
so 0409, and this one is 19th of February, so it is...
Same date, but different drawing.
But they clearly state we're retaining the front facade. So, this seems to be their way of they've put partial demolition as for the facade, which was probably what was criticised before, that they were losing this aspect of it. So I think for consistency purposes, I think we would be perfectly okay with saying, well, they've made some changes here, and we were happy with the thing before anyway.
Precisely.
I mean, we've got a problem in as much as we were happy with it before. I mean, my comment, I think it was, I have actually spoke about this one on one occasion, because as when I rolled up to look at it today, I thought, I've looked at this before. In my own opinion, if it's locally listed, it's of a particular character with that style of roof. And that's the bit I grieve losing. I'll phrase it that way. It's as is where there's some places where we've allowed gable ends where the rest of the road's got hip roof. I mean, we've got a partial hip on here. We've got it on there, although that's got a gable end, and I don't know whether that's an extension or whether that was as it was built. But there are 3 or 4 of those at least. Again, if we just view it from the point of, if we approve this one, or if this one is approved, does it set precedent that anybody else has got one that's similar to that and will lose? That's a particularly distinctive design.
May
I've
I-
not seen anywhere else.
May I just say that actually, in terms of the local listing, all houses in Advisoroy from 1 to 27 are covered.
Right, okay.
So it's not just specifically this
It's
one,
not.
they're not
And
being taken.
it is the continuity of the street.
I think
It's a
the
particular street,
is
yeah.
just sort of kind of, it's got different styles and
Yeah.
character and design across the whole of it. So I think it's just maybe that variety that is the reason why it was locally listed.
I think it's a pretty little road, isn't
But
it? Sad it's
I would just say that we didn't have any problems with it before. So
Yes.
based on this drawing, we can't say we've got any problems. You know, whatever the district decides, that's up to them.
Yeah.
However, what I'd say is that there's, I don't know which picture,
discrepancies in
because this is, I get, like Chris said, they're keeping this half, the lower half of the property, but they're losing all the roof form. Whereas this, they're actually, I'd say, they're almost changing, if they're changing the material to some sort of clay.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, from what it's saying there, is they're going to retain the facade, which they didn't say in the other proposal. So it gets that this is. So that's the confusion. That's more than retaining the facade than that.
The confusion is,
Yeah.
this is the proposed scheme, but they're different. So which is it? Are they proposing this one or this one?
Don't know. Do we?
I would say this one. This is the street scene. Maybe they copied the street scene. Don't know. But this is
Well, that I
this
would.
is proposed front elevation, and this is, I'd say, just it's the material, a bit like they're changing the material, so that doesn't make a lot of sense.
And they've not changed the date on the plans, unfortunately.
No, that one you're looking at is old.
It's the old one.
Yeah, that's the old one.
Yeah, they're all the
Then-
old.
This is the 4th of September, this is the 4th of September, but they're different drawings. So, are they proposing this one or this one again?
Yeah. So we can't determine, can we? Because we don't know.
No, but we have no, if it's this one, we didn't have
Yeah.
a problem last time,
No.
so I don't know.
And if they gave any further detail. Making any reference to what elements of it is
Yeah, this one just says retention of the front facade,
And what's the other one say?
same.
Same, oh,
Yeah, that's
oh,
what I'm
that
saying.
doesn't help. So, gents, what do we want to do on this one?
I'm happy with it.
Again,
I think we'll probably just say what we said before.
Mm.
Okay,
Same
I'll
or
go with that.
Can we just highlight the fact that it's unclear which?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
good point.
the street scene and the proposed elevation drawing.
It's the, well, suggesting that they're using.
Seem to be at odds with each other.
Yeah, smooth
Mhm.
render, the painted finish.
Definitely not. I would have said that. Again, our others.
So
That's flint, isn't it?
so will they going to do render over it?
No, it's that funny sort of kind of herringbone type
Right, fine, yeah.
brickwork, I think.
Brickwork to match it.
So it's one of the others then,
Yeah.
it's along there,
Brickwork
isn't it?
to
Right,
match existing. So, yeah, brickwork down the edges to be retained. Existing front facade of the building to be retained and supported as to the structural engineer's design, but new smooth render with painted finish. And they've also put it here, new smooth render with painted finish to this bit. So this drawing
Is inaccurate.
Okay, well, let's just comment that the drawing's inaccurate, but we're happy with the,
well, he's still happy if it looks like that and it's rendered.
yeah.
So if they change the front facade of a listed property.
Just,
I'm not happy with the render, particularly with its herringbone, and I can't remember having looked at it only a couple of hours ago.
What do you want me to get? I can go to the street.
I mean, it's a subject to materials, I think, isn't it? Is the compromise. We've no objection to subject
No.
to
appropriate,
materials.
yeah.
Well, we've resolved it.
Nobody wants to
Yeah.
How strange is
Yeah.
it? Like, so,
So we'll repeat from last time.
Was it materials last time, was it?
Yes, so last time we said, committee stated it had no objection to the proposal subject to an appropriate design and use of materials in the conservation area, was go to by the district plan first.
Yes.
Hang on. Sorry, we made that one rather a long time.
Right, that's the end of the application. And we just need to note the rest.
Thank you very much. Right, hang on, I've not quite finished the agenda. Back to, he says. Right, appeals, are there any to note?
No, I don't think there were any this time.
Prior notifications?
No, none this time.
No.
To note the list of the weeklies and all the district council decisions.
Noted.
Applications for tree works. Any comments on those?
No.
Right. Date of next Plans Advisory B committee is the 30th.
Hang on, we're 8.
Sorry.
Come on, 8. We're 8.
Yeah, but that's
Oh.
quickly the next meeting.
Oh, the next bit, okay,
We have this conversation every...
We do, don't we, every week? We get to the end of the meeting and we're all too tight, I
We
remember.
are the one and the same committee, but just that we are split.
A's and B's.
We are the A team. Yes. We have got the B string.
Thank you, glad you did.
Clearly, it's too much time in the holiday.
So, right, and if there's nothing else to add, I will declare the meeting closed at
9:07.
7, okay, fine.
We're not going to argue about the time, are we?